Arsenal have just battered West Ham 6-0. Absolute domination. That was, especially first half, that first half, I think you'd have to go back very, very, very far in Premier League history to find a more dominant first half than that. It was a joke. The possession, the expected goals, the amount of shots on and off target, just everything. Pure domination. West Ham fans came out today thinking, yeah, we're up for this. A good London derby at home, knocked Arsenal off their stride, showed Declan Rice he should have never left, and then found themselves leaving their ground without the first half even being fully completed. Embarrassing for them. Absolutely embarrassing. But my God, Arsenal, honestly, you know what? Thankfully, we scored some goals today through open play as well, but it all started off on set pieces. And I loved the variation in what we did. For the goal that we scored from the set piece was just absolutely brilliant, because the first corners that we had, you saw all the players lining up at the back post and then rushing forward to the front post. And when we actually scored the goal, they didn't do that. They started off sort of at the back post and then kind of went forward, but then stopped almost. It was a slight variation on what we had been doing before that. And it completely threw West Ham off. And then after that, my God, it was just non-stop after that. It was an absolute joke after that, how West Ham just got rattled. And do you know what I love about this performance is that last time out, all of the criticisms about over-celebrating this, that, the other, because we won a massive game to get us back in the title race against Liverpool. You know, a team that had only lost one game in the league this season. And Arsenal dispatched them in such a brilliant performance, 3-1 at home. And often, maybe the Arsenal of old, but it's sort of like a common thing that, you know, a team, when they're in that sort of title race, will get themselves up for that game when they're at home to a title rival, put out an amazing performance, and then the next week, they go and drop points. Or even if they don't drop points, they just go and sort of like stumble across the line. And it tells you something about the team. They're almost like, you know, they can get up for those big games, but then they might struggle because they're a bit complacent in the other games. None of that from Arsenal today. And that's what I found the most pleasing about it, because you know, this could have been a tricky fixture. West Ham are a decent team. They're playing at home. It's a London derby. You've got the Declan Rice impact, really. It's a Declan Rice derby, but you've got that sort of narrative being woven through this game as well, where you know West Ham and West Ham fans are going to want to get the better of Declan Rice or any team that Declan Rice is playing in. Not that it's necessarily personal to him, but, you know, because I'm sure there's still a lot of love and respect. And as you saw from his celebration, he obviously gave that back to West Ham fans. And I know they were booing him, but they even clapped him when he went off. It's like a bit of banter. You're trying to make it a bit hostile. I still think West Ham fans love him after what he did for them, lifting up a trophy, a European trophy for West Ham. That's no mean feat, and he did that as their captain. But there was a lot of reasons why this should have been a tricky game. And Arsenal just went and made it look easy. It's so important. You can imagine the frustration of beating Liverpool and sort of announcing you're back in the title race, only to not go and follow that up with a win in a game that you really need to win. And we did it. And not only that, Liverpool and Man City both played before us this weekend. And that just puts all the pressure on. You can imagine all the journalists out there, all the Arsenal haters out there, all the pundits out there are almost rehearsing their headlines, prepping what they're going to be saying and stuff, talking about how Arsenal can't deal with the pressure, Liverpool, Man City, you know, they're plugging away, getting the 3 points, and Arsenal stepping up. They would have loved it. And the way Arsenal have responded, as if it's a walk in the park, as if there's no pressure following up that Liverpool result, as if there's no pressure winning after Man City and Liverpool have won to go and keep the pace. And not only that as well, now look at the goal difference. If I'm not wrong, Liverpool are leading the way with plus 32, and then Man City plus 31, and now Arsenal as well plus 31. Only goals scored separate us. And it's amazing because it just goes to show we really haven't scored enough goals prior to this game, given that we've won 6-0 and we're still behind Man City on goals scored. But then again, look, it's Man City. They score goals for fun. And I'm sure, I haven't looked at it, but I'd be very, very confident, say we're probably the top 5 in the league in terms of goals scored overall, especially after this game, maybe even top 3. So it's a weird one because the amount of chat there is about Arsenal not having a clinical striker, and I'm someone that's said that in the past as well. But, I've said before as well that whilst I would love a clinical striker, it would almost take away from the way Arsenal play. And I feel like we almost need a plan B, a clinical striker that's a plan B, because right now we have goals from all over the team. Look at today. You've got Declan Rice popping up, you've got Gabriel, you've got Saliba. And you know what, especially Gabriel, that's not that uncommon. He gets 5 goals a season as a central defender. I don't think any central defender has scored more goals than him since he's been in the Premier League, and that's just not in total. I think that's every single season. He's a consistent threat, and as soon as Saliba scored, it's like he said, right, well, you're not taking that crown away from me. I'm the goal scoring threat from central defence, and he went and got his goal as well. But both of our centre backs, Trossard, Saka, I mean, look, it's just brilliant. The way we get goals from all around the team and we don't have a single point of reliance is really, really good. It's just those games where we struggle to score is where that whole striker thing comes up. But I'm glad that today some players stepped up and showed that actually, do you know what? We do get goals from all around the pitch. Last season we did it, and that wasn't luck. This season we've done it as well. Now anyway, Bukayo Saka. Let's talk about him. What a player he is. Look at his record. I think that's 100 goal contributions now in 210, 211 games. How can an academy player come into the first team ranks and in his first 200 odd games basically be 1 in 2? That's unbelievable. That's what you'd expect, that sort of output. Because what we're talking about here in a 38 game season is 19 goal contributions. That is senior player return. And he's done it even including that period where you'd expect him to maybe struggle to adapt into the first team, etc. That includes that spell. It's unbelievable consistency from Saka. And listen, I said this about Odegaard previously, about let's have the world-class conversation. Who's ready for that with Bukayo Saka? Who's ready for the world-class conversation with Bukayo Saka now? Smash the like button on this video if you think he belongs in that world-class conversation, because I'm not being funny. Pick a winger in world football and let's compare Saka's output to theirs. He's up there. He's absolutely up there. The names we're going to be talking about are the likes of Mbappe, and look at the team he's playing in and the league he's playing in. Vinny Jr., for example. I'd love to, I haven't done it, I haven't looked at the stats, but I'd love to see how Saka compares. He's unbelievable. And the world-class conversation needs to be had. Who's a better winger in the Premier League than him? Salah? That's it? Maybe that's it? And we say winger, wide forward, whatever, because Saka's not a true winger, in the old school sense where you're taking your man on the outside. What Saka does, people see it week in, week out. He receives that ball as he's coming into the pitch, so he opens the pitch out for him. He's impossible to stop though. You know what he's going to do. You know he's going to use his left foot. He's impossible to stop. And also, I loved his Mbappe finish today. That one where he cuts inside and the goalkeeper's expecting him to do what he's seen him do a million times before, and instead of curling it far post, bang, bullet in the near post. Bringing in variations to his game. Also, Saka missed a really, really important penalty here last season. And what does he do? Steps up again here and scores it. I know it's not in the same sort of end game of the season pressure, but still, there's so much about that kid that I just love. Declan Rice, let's talk about him as well. Absolutely bossed it. What a signing he has been. And if we're in a better chance, if we're in a better position to get over the line this year than we were last year, is because of Declan Rice. He, for me, is the game changer signing that I'm hoping will drag us over the line. But listen, it's going to be one hell of an interesting end to the season. And the last 10 games will tell us everything we need to know. The last 8-10 games, it's a different kettle of fish. I said that last year. And obviously, yeah, we did unravel a little bit. Hopefully the team have learned from that. If we keep on plugging away, keep on playing like this, we'll be there towards the end of the season. And fingers crossed. Arsenal, unbelievable today. Just what a lovely game of football. I wish every single week could be like this. See you next time. Up the Arsenal.